Welcome to my Passion Travel channel, a channel specializing in street food and travel. Pineapple fritters. Slices of pineapple dipped in batter and deep fried to create a sweet and crispy snack. Pineapple fritters are a delightful and simple treat that involves coating pineapple rings in batter and deep frying them until they're golden and crispy. Here's a basic recipe to make pineapple fritters. Ingredients: fresh pineapple slices or rings, 6 to 8 slices. You can also use canned pineapple rings. All-purpose flour, 1 cup. Baking powder, 1 teaspoon salt, 1/4 teaspoon. Granulated sugar, 2 tablespoons, adjust to taste. Egg, 1 milk, 2 cup. Vegetable oil for frying, optional. Confectioner's sugar or cinnamon sugar mix for dusting instructions. Prepare the pineapple. If using fresh pineapple, peel and cut it into rings or slices. Ensure to remove the core. Make the batter. In a mixing bowl, whisk together the all-purpose flour, baking powder, salt, and granulated sugar. In a separate bowl, beat the egg, and then whisk in the milk until well combined. Gradually pour the wet ingredients into the dry ingredients, while whisking until you have a smooth batter with no lumps. Heat the oil. In a deep frying pan or pot, heat enough vegetable oil for frying. The oil should be around 350 degree F, 175 degree C for deep frying. Coat the pineapple. Dip each pineapple slice into the batter, ensuring it's well coated on all sides. Let the excess batter drip off. Fry the fritters. Carefully place the coated pineapple slices into the hot oil. Fry them in batches to avoid overcrowding the pan. Fry each side for about 2-3 minutes or until they turn golden brown and crispy. Use tongs to turn them halfway through cooking. Drain and serve. Once the pineapple fritters are golden and crispy, remove them from the oil and place them on a plate lined with paper towels to absorb excess oil. Serve and enjoy. Optionally, dust the pineapple fritters with confectioner's sugar or a cinnamon sugar mix before serving. Serve the warm pineapple fritters as a delicious snack or dessert. Pumpkin scones. Scones made with pumpkin, flour, and other ingredients, usually served with jam and cream. Pumpkin scones are a delicious variation of traditional scones, adding the subtle sweetness and earthy flavor of pumpkin to the mix. Here's a simple recipe to make pumpkin scones. Ingredients: 2 cups, all-purpose flour, 1/4 cup, granulated sugar, 1 tablespoon baking powder, 2 teaspoon salt, 1 teaspoon ground cinnamon, 2 teaspoon ground nutmeg, 4 teaspoon ground ginger, 4 teaspoon ground cloves, 2 cup unsalted butter, cold, cut into small cubes, 2 cup canned pumpkin puree, 4 cup milk plus extra for brushing, 1 teaspoon vanilla extract instructions. Preheat the oven. Preheat your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, 200 degrees Celsius. Line a baking sheet with parchment paper. Prepare the dry ingredients. In a large mixing bowl, combine the flour, sugar, baking powder, salt, cinnamon, nutmeg, ginger, and cloves. Mix them together. Cut in the butter. Add the cold butter cubes to the dry ingredients. Use a pastry cutter, fork, or your fingers to cut the butter into the flour mixture until it resembles coarse crumbs with pea-sized pieces of butter. Mix the wet ingredients. In a separate bowl, mix the pumpkin puree, milk, and vanilla extract until well combined. Combine wet and dry mixtures. Make a well in the center of the dry ingredients and pour in the pumpkin mixture. Stir until just combined. Be careful not to overmix. The dough should be slightly sticky but manageable. Shape and cut the scones. Transfer the dough onto a lightly floured surface. Pat the dough into a circle about 1 inch thick. Use a round cookie cutter or a sharp knife to cut out scones. Place the scones onto the prepared baking sheet, leaving some space between each one. Bake the scones. Lightly brush the tops of the scones with a little milk using a pastry brush. Bake in the preheated oven for about 18 minutes, or until the scones are golden brown on top and cooked through. Cool and serve. Once done, remove the scones from the oven and transfer them to a wire rack to cool completely. Serve and enjoy. Pumpkin scones are best enjoyed fresh and can be served with butter, jam, or clotted cream. Kangaroo steak. Grilled or pan-seared kangaroo meat served as a unique local dish. Kangaroo steak is a lean and flavorful meat that's commonly enjoyed in Australia and parts of the Pacific region, including Norfolk Island. Here's a basic guide on how to prepare kangaroo steak. Ingredients: kangaroo steaks, loin or fillet. Allow for 1 steak per serving olive oil or vegetable oil, salt and pepper to taste. Optional: garlic powder, herbs, or spices for seasoning. Instructions: prepare the kangaroo steaks. If the steaks are frozen, ensure they're completely thawed before cooking. Pat them dry with paper towels to remove excess moisture. Preheat the grill or pan. Preheat a grill or frying pan over medium-high heat. If using a grill, make sure it's well heated before cooking. Season the steaks. Rub a small amount of olive oil on both sides of the kangaroo steaks. This helps to prevent sticking and adds a bit of moisture. Season the steaks generously with salt and pepper. You can also add garlic powder, herbs, or your preferred spices for extra flavor. Cooking. Place the kangaroo steaks on the hot grill or frying pan. Allow them to cook without moving for about 3-4 minutes on each side for medium rare doneness. Adjust the cooking time to achieve your desired level of doneness. Kangaroo meat is lean and cooks quickly, so be cautious not to overcook it to prevent it from becoming tough or dry. It's best served medium rare to medium. Resting and serving. Once cooked to your preference, remove the steaks from the heat and transfer them to a plate. Allow the kangaroo steaks to rest for a few minutes before serving. This helps redistribute the juices for a juicier and more flavorful steak. Serve and enjoy. Kangaroo steak is typically served alongside roasted vegetables, mashed potatoes, or a fresh salad. Slice the steaks against the grain for tenderness and serve immediately. Note: kangaroo meat is lean and can become tough if overcooked, so it's essential to monitor the cooking time and avoid prolonged cooking at high heat. Potato scallops. Slices of potato dipped in batter and deep fried. A popular snack item. Potato scallops, also known as potato cakes in some regions, are a popular snack or side dish made from thinly sliced potatoes, coated in batter and deep fried until golden and crispy. Here's a simple recipe to make potato scallops. Ingredients: potatoes, 2 large potatoes, choose a variety suitable for frying. All-purpose flour, 1/2 cup. Baking powder, 1 teaspoon salt. 1-2 teaspoon, or to taste, cold water. 1-2 cup. Oil for deep frying instructions. Prepare the potatoes. Peel the potatoes and thinly slice them into rounds, approximately 1/8 to 1/4 inch thick. Pat the slices dry with paper towels to remove excess moisture. Make the batter. In a mixing bowl, combine the all-purpose flour, baking powder, and salt. Gradually, whisk in the cold water until the batter is smooth and free of lumps. The batter should have a consistency similar to pancake batter. Adjust the water or flour if needed to achieve the right consistency. Coat the potato slices. Heat oil in a deep frying pan or fryer to around 350 degrees Fahrenheit, 175 degrees Celsius, for deep frying. Dip each potato slice into the batter, ensuring it's evenly coated on both sides. Let the excess batter drip off. Fry the potato scallops. Carefully place the coated potato slices into the hot oil, a few at a time, depending on the size of your frying pan or fryer. Avoid overcrowding the pan. Fry the slices for about 3-4 minutes per side, or until they turn golden brown and crispy. Use a slotted spoon or tongs to flip them halfway through cooking. Drain and serve. Once the potato scallops are golden and crispy, remove them from the oil using a slotted spoon and place them on a plate lined with paper towels to absorb excess oil. Serve and enjoy. Potato scallops are best served hot and can be enjoyed on their own or with condiments such as ketchup, aioli, or your favorite dipping sauce. Rock oysters. Freshly harvested local oysters, served raw or cooked in various styles. Rock oysters, also known as Pacific oysters or Crassostria gigas, are a type of oyster commonly found in the Pacific region, including Norfolk Island. These oysters are known for their unique flavor and are enjoyed both raw and cooked. Here's some information about rock oysters. Description. Appearance. Rock oysters have a rough and irregular shell with a slightly fluted edge. The shell's color can vary from off-white to dark gray, often with a mottled appearance. Size. They can grow to varying sizes, with some larger specimens reaching lengths of up to several inches. Taste and texture. Rock oysters typically have a firm texture with a smooth and creamy interior. They offer a slightly briny, sweet, and mineral-rich flavor profile. Culinary use, raw consumption. Often served fresh on the half shell, raw rock oysters are enjoyed as a delicacy. They're usually served with accompaniments like lemon wedges, mignonette sauce, or a splash of hot sauce. Cooked preparations. These oysters can also be cooked in various ways, such as grilled, baked, or fried. Cooking methods can enhance their flavor while maintaining their natural brininess. Harvesting and availability. Harvesting. Rock oysters are typically harvested from coastal waters, where they grow on rocks or oyster beds. Availability. The availability of rock oysters can vary based on local seasons and harvesting practices. They're often available fresh from seafood markets or restaurants in coastal regions. Nutritional value. Nutrients. Oysters are known for being rich in nutrients, including protein, omega-3 fatty acids, vitamins, such as B12, minerals, like zinc and iron, and antioxidants. Serving suggestions. Raw. Serve fresh rock oysters on the half shell with a squeeze of lemon or a classic mignonette sauce. Cooked. Grill or bake rock oysters with butter, garlic, herbs, or cheese for a flavorful cooked dish.